Check. Alright, good afternoon everyone. I apologize for the late arrival. May meeting lang sa kabila. Okay, it's already 2:02. We can already start with the back Charlie meeting. Ma'am Secretary, do we have a quorum for today?
Yes, sir. We have a quorum, sir.
Alright, can we go through the usual roll call, please? Thank you.
Okay, sir. Please acknowledge if you are present. To start off, our presiding officer, Attorney Roberto Martin Benaventura,
Present, ma'am.
Colonel Valentino Jonella, Engineer Felipe Labado,
Present.
Ms. Amneris Gabriel, Ms. Diana Ines Brinias.
Present online.
Thank you. For the end user, we have from the ADMS, Alfred Sheldon Ceballos.
Present, ma'am.
From the ANS, Engineer Arnold Balucating. Online. From the for the technical working group, Attorney Frank Edward Marty,
Present.
Attorney Adelisa Irugin, Engineer Raul Crucena,
Present online.
Engineer Michael Ian Ilagan, Engineer Alexander Abag, Engineer Eva Lasatin, Engineer April Joy Puruganan, Engineer Darwin Lintag, Maria Cristina Balonon, Engineer Joferan Joseph Torrefranca,
Present online.
Engineer Gary Jadi,
Present online.
Engineer Norik Baez,
Present, ma'am.
Engineer Adelio Arganda. And for the technical consultants, we have Attorney Irish Presion,
Present online.
General Junicio Robles, sir. From the BAC Secretariat, we have Dr. Rolly Bayaban, yours truly, Maria de la Marca, Ms. Melina Reyes, Mr. Thomas Duke Santos, our minutes taker, Ms. Joanna Jane Choson, Mr. Nathaniel Tordesillas, Mr. Sonny Villabert, Ms. Eloisa Casimiro.
Present online.
Thank you.
online.
Ms. Sandra Serdan, Ms. Madonna, Ms. Rita Linda, and Ms. Romela, all present online. We have observers from the COA and from the Internal Audit, Ms. Maria Jean Velasco, and from the DOTR engineers, Sore, sir. That's all, sir.
All right, thank you everyone for being present this afternoon. Also to our observers, thank you for attending. Okay, we'll move on to the first item in the agenda, which is the opening of bids for Cuyo Airport Development Project amounting to 28,737,049 pesos and 49 cents. Okay, do you have two bidders, correct?
Yes, sir. Prospective bidders purchased the bid documents, but only one submitted, sir.
Only one, which is EM
Abin.
Abin Trading. Okay.
And we don't have representatives present.
We don't have representatives present, even online.
Meron po, sir, from BM Abin.
Ayan. Maybe we can recognize them, Ma'am Secretariat.
Sir, please, your name and company you represent.
Yes, hello po. Good afternoon. I am Engineer Vincent Louis Abin from EM Abin Trading and Construction po.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
With that, we can proceed with the opening, please.
Representative from EM Abin. Sir, can you see your bid document, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Will you acknowledge it if this is yours?
Sa amin po.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, permission to open the bids.
Go ahead,
Bids.
please.
Inside the main envelope are 3 envelopes, the original envelope, copy 1, and copy 2. Inside the original envelope are 2 envelopes, the original eligibility and technical component and the original financial component. The eligibility and technical component have tabbings. Sign each page, and with pagination. Checklist, please.
Checklist, valid field job certificate of registration and membership.
Certificate of PhilJEP's registration, platinum membership, valid until February 12, 2022, submitted.
Annex A of the certificate of field jobs registration.
Annex A, submitted.
Registration certificate from the SEC or DTI or CDA.
TTI certificate, expiration date February 15, 2024, submitted.
Mayor's permit.
Mayor's permit issued at City of Puerto Princesa, valid until December 31, 2021, submitted.
Tax clearance.
Tax clearance, expiration date August 10, 2021, submitted.
Valid pickup license.
Pickup license, valid until June 30, 2021, submitted.
Statement of the bidder's single largest completed contract. SLCC.
SLCC, submitted.
Statement of the prospective bidder of all its ongoing government and private contracts.
Statement of all ongoing contracts, submitted.
Bid security.
Bid security in the form of bid securing declaration, signed and notarized, submitted.
Organizational chart for the contract to be bid.
Organizational chart, submitted.
List of contractors, key personnel.
List of key personnel, submitted.
List of contractors, major equipment units.
List of equipment, submitted.
Omnibus sworn statement.
Omnibus sworn statement. signed and notarized, submitted.
Certification under oath attesting that they have no pending case against the government.
Certificate with no pending case against the government, submitted.
Legal clearance issued by the CAAP Enforcement and Legal Service.
Legal clearance signed by Attorney Gumabon, submitted.
Certificate of Site Inspection duly signed by Ms. Lesher Gabo or her duly authorized representative.
Certificate of site inspection issued to Mr. Oliver Valderraman. Valdestamon. Oliver Valdestamon, signed by Lesher Gabo, airport manager, submitted.
Copy of the company ID of the person who conducted the site inspection.
Copy of the company ID of Oliver Valdestamon, submitted.
Copy of the airport visitor's logbook.
Copy of the visitor's logbook with an entry name of Oliver Valdestamon, submitted. Wala silang ano.
Picture of the proposed site, including the personnel who conducted the site inspection, together with the officer in charge or a duly authorized representative.
Picture of the proposed site, including the contractor's representative and the representative of the manager, submitted.
Audited financial statement stamp received by the BIR.
Audited financial statement, data filing June 15, 2020, submitted.
NFCC.
NFCC in amount of 316,050,158 pesos and 96 centavos. Submitted.
Joint venture agreement, if applicable.
Not applicable.
Pass.
The technical and eligibility documents of
EM Abin.
EM Abin Trading and Construction rated as passed. Mr. Chair, permission to open the financial documents.
Go ahead, please.
The document has stabbings, signed each page, and paginated each page. Checklist, please.
Checklist, bid prices in the bill of quantities.
Bill of quantities submitted.
Summary of bid proposal.
Summary of bid proposal submitted.
Bill of materials and cost estimates.
Bill of materials and cost estimates submitted.
Summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials.
Summary sheet for unit prices of materials submitted.
Summary sheet indicating the unit prices of labor rates.
Summary for labor rates submitted.
And summary sheet indicating the unit prices of equipment rentals.
Summary for equipment submitted.
Cash flow by quarter and payment schedule.
Cash flow by quarter and payment schedule submitted.
Financial bid.
The financial bid of EMA Abin Trading and Construction is 28,732,191 pesos and 81 centavos.
28 million.
28,732,191 pesos and 81 centavos.
Within the ABC of 22,905.
Within the ABC and no discount.
Bangitin mo ang ABC. Bangitin mo na lang ang ABC. Ito. The ABC is. Compare mo na. Para may comparison.
So the ABC is 28,737,049 pesos and 49 centavos. And the bid of EM Abin is 28,732 pesos and 109 and 81 centavos.
With that, Mr. Chair, the TWG recommends that the bid proposal of EM Abin Trading and Construction to undergo bid evaluation to ascertain any mathematical corrections and determine completeness of bid for approval and consideration of the BAC. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, TWG. So there is now a recommendation from TWG for the conduct of bid evaluation for the bid of the sole bidder EM Abin Trading and Construction. Is there any motion from our members?
Motion?
Yes, sir.
Motion to adopt a recommendation of the Technical Working Group that EM Abin Trading and Construction Corporation to undergo bid evaluation.
Thank you, sir. Is there any second to that motion? Sino po yun? Seconded na. Hindi ko narinig. Ma'am Dayan, seconded. Alright, thank you, ma'am. There being a motion duly seconded, the bid of EM Abin Trading and Construction as submitted shall undergo bid evaluation. Thank you. Alright, moving on to the next item in the agenda for today. We have the pre-procurement conference for the purchase and installation of communications and equipment for Bicol New Legazpi International Airport, amounting to 22,904,000, an ANS DOTR downloaded project. So we'll be presenting this from the end user.
Ms. Rose Tan, sir.
All right, Ma'am Rose, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. This is the same project we have presented before. So we have just took out the highlights which we present before or last week. So right now we have emailed this to TWG and the BAC Secretariat for numbering and scheduling. Now for the invitation to bid, this is the same as what we have presented before with few corrections taken from the TWG's proposal. Okay. And also the bid amount of 28,000 is adopted as given by the BAC Secretariat to include, I think, the VAT price or the VAT. Okay. For the BDS, we have just included in section 10.1 the previous requirements in legal certification, attesting that they have no pending case, the legal clearance, and for the technical bid, we have included there the revised Annex A to be accomplished by the bidders and the site inspection to be submitted as required by TWG's recommendation last time. Okay. So for 12.1, this is the same as what we have before. We just took off the highlight. We added 20.1 to include uh, a professional ECE to sign all the bids and the contractor to uh, carry the burden for all necessary permits during the conduct of or implementation of the contract. So for 21.1, additional documents are here enumerated to be included in the contract signing. So for special conditions of the contract, we have included the point person for the procuring entity at the project site and included the following services as part of the performance obligation of the contractor, the winning bidder. Okay. So we have also specified in section 4 the tests needed or required for the project. Now for the schedule of requirements, there are no more corrections or additions. Okay, so this is the same as what we have presented last week. Okay, so for the technical specification, this includes only those equipment, device, program of work. And for the checklist, we have already included the additional documentations specific to this project. Okay, together with uh, the technical, in technical bid, the accomplished revised Annex A, which is previously in financial bid. But this is separate from the regular financial bid form, no, that is issued by the GPPB. So for the revised Annex A, this is the form included in the bid document. So if the BAC Secretariat has already finalized the schedule, we recommend this for posting, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, let me just confirm, was this already coordinated with DWG with the comments last time from Sir Joffet?
Yeah, we have talked, we have discussed this.
Okay. How
And
about the
said,
issue on the turnkey, the proposal to convert the contract to a
yeah,
turnkey contract?
okay, we have included this in section, I think it's in specific. Here, as the BAC have pointed out before that the end user will be the one to decide. So based on the recommendation of Sir Arnold, we have placed here that the billing will be a turnkey project, one payment scheme. Okay, so no progress billing.
All right, thank you, ma'am. That's it for me. At this juncture, we open the floor for any comments from the members, the Secretariat, and the TWG, if there's any. If there is none, the recommendation is for posting. Maybe we can have a motion.
Through the chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I so move for the posting of the presented bid. I mean,
Okay, there's a motion for posting of the project presented by Ma'am Rose. Is there any second?
Second.
sorry.
All right, thank you. There being a motion duly seconded, the project purchase and installation of communications equipment for Bicol New Legazpi International Airport amounting to 22,104,000 will hereby be posted. Ma'am Secretariat, what do we need for this from the end user?
This will be emailed again to Sunny Villabert for posting.
Okay.
And probably can post it tonight, sir.
All right. Take note of the scheduling as requested by the end user. The scheduling from the Secretariat's office. All right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you, sir.
Rose.
Okay, moving on to the next item. This is another pre-procurement conference. This is for the Surigao Airport Development Project amounting to 75,387,723 pesos and 97 cents. An ADMS DOTR downloaded project. Who will be presenting this from the end user?
Engineer Caril Donato.
Is he present? Are we ready,
Ms.
sir?
Caril.
Maybe we can proceed, please.
Ha? Asan na? They were supposed to be here, sir, physically, kaya lang meron sila mga plans ipapakita and they have not printed anything. So mag-online na lang daw. Kaso, asan na ba? Engineer Caril, sir.
So we're not ready for this?
They're not ready yet, sir. Meantime,
Pero
sir.
kaya to today?
Yes, sir.
Sige. Do we have, let's just move on first to the next item and maybe we can just come back for this.
Yes, sir. We
Do you
have
have
other matters.
items under other matters?
Yes, sir. Presentation of the Technical Working Group report.
Yes, sir. We will be presenting the post-qualification report for the project Bukidnon Airport Development Project, concreting of runway, 1,260 meters, concrete pipe conduits, box culvert, and construction of apron, north and south taxiway. So the approved budget of the for the contract is 603,722,296 pesos and 40 centavos under bid Charlie 19-011-11, and the opening was conducted last December 28, 2020 here at CAAP Conference Room. Be it noted, Mr. Chair, that the lowest calculated bid, the RCDG Construction Development Corporation, was post-disqualified due to failure to comply with the requirements for a notarized bid securing declaration, and omnibus sworn statement. So we proceed with the second lowest calculated bid, which is the Edma Reconstruction Corporation and Trading, Construction and Trading, whose calculated bid is 475,416,618 pesos and 81 centavos. So here are the findings of the technical working group's evaluation. For the eligibility documents for PhilJep's certificate of registration, Edmarie submitted a certificate of PhilJep's registration, which was issued last 30 December 2020 and valid until 30 January 2021, and it is valid during the opening of bids, thus it is responsive. For the certificate of registration from the Securities and Exchange Commission, they submitted, or DTI, they submitted a DTI certificate which is valid until 11 February 2025, and it is responsive. Mayor's permit or business permit, they submitted, the bidder submitted a mayor's permit which was issued by the municipality of San Luis, Pampanga, and it is valid until December 31, 2021, and it is valid during the opening of bids, thus it is responsive. Tax clearance. The submitted tax clearance was issued last 16 December 2020 by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, and it is valid until 16 December 2021, and it is responsive. Valid pickup license. The submitted pickup license is for category AAA, and our requirement is large B for roads, highway, pavement, railways, airports, horizontal structures, and bridges. And the pickup license submitted is valid until 30 June 2021, thus it is responsive. For statement of all ongoing government and private contracts, the submitted contract is for the rehabilitation / reconstruction or upgrading of damaged paved road, tertiary road, for the Apalit, Macabebe, Masantol Road in Macabebe, Pampanga, amounting to 55,126,926 pesos, and it is responsive. For SLCC, the single largest completed contract, the submission of Edmarie Construction is the project Sunshineville 1 Resettlement Housing Project of Barangay Cabuco, 13 Martires, amounting to 1,281,120,000 pesos. As part or component of this project, Mr. Chair, is the road works, drainage works, and site preparation, which amounts to 415,221,207 pesos and 78 centavos, which is above the 50% of the ABC for the project. For the audited financial statement, Edmarie submitted an audited financial statement for the fiscal year 2018 to 2019, and it was stamped received by BIR last 16 June 2020. Thus, it is responsive. For the computation of net financial contracting capacity, NFCC, the submitted NFCC and the computed or corrected NFCC is the same, and the NFCC amounts to 7,208,648,674 pesos and 20 centavos, and the NFCC is more than the ABC, thus it is responsive. Joint venture agreement is not applicable in this case. So for the technical document, bid security, they submitted a duly notarized bid securing declaration, and it is responsive. Organizational chart for the contract to be bid, the submission of Edmarie met the minimum required technical personnel as per invitation to bid. and it is responsive. For the list of contractors' personnel, the submission of Ed Marie met the minimum required technical personnel as per invitation to bid, and it is responsive. As well as the list of contractors' equipment, it complied with the minimum required equipment as per invitation to bid, thus it is responsive. Omnibus sworn statement, the submission of Ed Marie Construction and Trading is duly notarized and signed. It is responsive. For the certificate of site inspection, the site inspection certificate was issued to Mr. Earl Plaza by Mr. Crisonogo Liedo Jr., a DOTR Bukidnon PMO, and the certificate of site inspection is dated 23 December 2020. It is responsive. Photocopy of company ID. The company ID of Mr. Earl Plaza was submitted, and it is responsive. Photocopy of airport visitors logbook. The submission is for the photocopy of the DOTR Bukidnon PMO visitors logbook with an entry of the site inspection which was conducted by Mr. Earl Plaza. Thus, it is responsive. Bid bulletin number 1 dated 9 December 2020. A photocopy of the bid bulletin number 1 was attached in the bid submission of Ed Marie. Thus, it is responsive. For the financial documents, financial bid form, the offered bid of Ed Marie is 475,416,618 pesos and 81 centavos. And after the bid evaluation, the calculated bid now is 475,416,618 pesos and 81 centavos. So a difference of 120. Sorry. A difference of 128,305,677 pesos and 59 centavos from the approved budget for the contract. So bill of quantities, the submission of Ed Marie is in accordance with the Philippine bidding documents under section 9 of which is the bid forms. Thus it is responsive. The bid proposal is also in accordance with section 9, the bidding forms, and it is responsive. Detailed estimates, the submission is responsive as it is in accordance with the Philippine bidding form section 9, bidding document section 9. Summary sheets indicating construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rates. It is responsive as it is in accordance with section 9 bidding forms of the Philippine bidding documents. Cash flow by quarter, also responsive as it is in accordance with section 9 bidding forms. PERT CPM network diagram, it is responsive. They submitted, they attached in the submission the PERT CPM network diagram to be utilized for the project. Construction schedule bar chart and S-curve, they also submitted the said requirements in the submission, thus it is responsive. So on 15 February 2020, which was yesterday, Mr. Chair, a team of ADMS Technical Working Group conducted site inspection at Ed Marie Construction and Trading at San Luis, Pampanga, and they also verified the submission of Ed Marie as regards to the post-qualification documents. So for the latest income and business tax, the submission of Ed Marie submitted a business tax for the period October to December 2020, and it was validated during the site visit, and it is responsive to the requirements. So for other licenses and permits as required in the BDS, They submitted a field jobs registration, and this was verified during the site visit. The field jobs registration is dated 25 January 2021 and valid 25 January 2020. They also submitted the PCAB license and registration, Securities and Exchange Commission registration, and mayor's permit, which is valid until 31 December 2021. Tax clearance also of Edmarie Construction Corp and Trading was also submitted, and these were all validated during the site visit. The latest audited financial statements, they submitted the audited financial statement for fiscal year 2018 and 2019, and it was stamped received by the BIR 15 June 2020. It is responsive. For the key personnel, PRC licenses of the key personnel who will be assigned to this project were submitted and were validated during the site visit, and it is responsive to the requirements of this project. So with that, Mr. Chair, the bid proposal of Edmarie Construction and Trading was evaluated to have offered the lowest calculated responsive bid, as it complied with all the legal, technical, and financial requirements. And with that, we at the Technical Working Group recommends to award the contract to Edmarie Construction and Trading for the Bukidnon Airport Development Project, concreting of runway 1,260 meters, concrete pipe conduits, box culvert, and construction of apron north and south taxiway, being the lowest calculated responsive bid in the amount of 475,416,618 pesos and 81 centavos for consideration and approval of the Bids and Awards Committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Attorney Frank. At this juncture, we open the floor for any comments from the members.
Yeah. Before that, Mr. Chair, in relation to the post-qualification report that we prepared, we also prepared a letter reply to the motion for or the request for reconsideration of RCDG Construction Corporation, which is material before the Bids and Awards Committee decide on or approve the recommendation of the TWG post-qualification report. So allow me, Mr. Chair, to share the motion, the letter request for consideration of RCDG Construction Corporation, the lowest calculated bidder. So this was the letter request, and it is dated February 10, 2021, addressed to the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines. Attention to the chairman of the Bids and Awards Committee. So in your screens right now is the letter. Basically, for the record, I will read the contents of the letter. This is to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated February 5, 2021, relative to the post-disqualification of our bid for the Bukidnon Airport Development Project, concreting of runway 1,260 meters, concrete pipe conduits, box culvert, and construction of apron north and south taxiway under bid number 19-011-11 BB Charlie. The basis for such post-disqualification, as per your findings, was our alleged submission of bid securing declaration with an invalid notarization and the submission of an omnibus sworn statement, also with an invalid notarization. We respectfully seek the reconsideration of the said post-disqualification of our bid for the above-mentioned project, believing in good faith that we have submitted the bid documents in accordance with the requirement imposed by this committee. We are also of the honest belief that the bid securing declaration and the omnibus sworn statement, which forms part of the bid documents, were notarized in the regular course of business without any doubt that the notary public to whom the said documents were acknowledged is duly authorized to administer the oath, being ordinary laymen who are not learned in law or in any legal processes for that matter, we merely relied on our belief that the bid securing declaration and the omnibus sworn statement were regularly notarized in accordance with the notarial law. Whatever defect in the subject notarized documents, if there be any, we are not in the position to know that the same suffers from any legal infirmity. It is for this justifiable reason that we are seeking these committees' reconsideration for the findings that led to the post-disqualification of our bid for the subject project. We undertake to abide by any and all instructions or directive of this committee for the reinstitution of our bid. In addition, we respectfully opine that pursuant to GPPB Resolution number 09/2020, which was approved on May 7, 2020, approving measures for the efficient conduct of procurement activities during a state of calamity or implementation of community quarantine or similar restrictions, the submission of unnotarized bid securing declaration, Section 6.1, and unnotarized omnibus sworn statement, Section 6.3, may be or is allowed. As stated in the subject resolution, the allowance of the submission or acceptance of unnotarized bid securing document and omnibus sworn statement is allowed in consideration of the limited access to and among others due to restrictions on transport and travel as brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Thus, we respectfully request that the alleged invalidly notarized bid securing declaration and omnibus sworn statement be instead considered as unnotarized documents for this purpose and is a substantial compliance with the bid requirement. Thank you for your usual consideration. And the letter is signed by Mr. Randolph Ivan Ruste, President and Chief Executive Officer of the RCDG Construction Corporation. In reply to the request for reconsideration, Mr. Chair, the TWG prepared a letter denying the motion for, or the letter for reconsideration of RCDG. So this is the draft letter. This is in reply to the request for reconsideration dated February 10, 2021 of RCDG Construction Corporation for the Project Bukidnon Airport Development Project. The Bids and Awards Committee charily finds the request of RCDG bereft of merit. The provisions in Section 3, B Data Sheet, ITB Clause 10.1H and J explicitly require the bid securing declaration and omnibus sworn statement together with the Secretary's certificate to be duly notarized. This requirement, collectively with all other specification in the bid documents for this particular project, has to be strictly complied with in the submission of all the bidders. Moreover, good faith cannot be made as a basis to excuse the bidder from any defects in its submission, specifically if it results to non-compliance of an express requirement. The existence of a non-complying item, in this case the invalid notarization, is sufficient for the BAC to render the submission as non-responsive to the requirement of the procuring entity. The bidder is duty-bound to carefully examine its documents upon submission, and that includes ensuring the regularity, validity, and genuineness of all the documents and its contents thereof. Be it noted that in the omnibus sworn statement, RCDG attested that Item number 4. Each of the documents submitted is in satisfaction of the bidding requirements, is an authentic copy of the original, complete, and all statements and informations provided therein are true and correct. Also in item number 8, RCDG Construction Corporation is aware of and has undertaken the following responsibilities of the bidder. Letter A, carefully examine all the bidding documents. Likewise, BAC Charlie cannot consider the invalidly notarized documents submitted by RCDG as unnotarized documents under the purview of GPPB Resolution Number 09-2020. GPPB Resolution Number 09-2020 allowed the submission of unnotarized documents in consideration of the imposed community quarantine and travel limitations, which caused difficulty in strict complying with the government bidding requirements. In this case, RCDG was able to process and obtain the required documents, including the notarization. Thus, access has never been a problem. To allow the application of GPPB Resolution Number 09-2020 in this case would contravene to the essence of the issuance. So in view thereof, in view of the foregoing, the Bids and Awards Committee sharply denies your motion for reconsideration and upholds the post-disqualification of RCDG Construction Corporation. So this is the recommendation of the Technical Working Group, Mr. Chair, for consideration and approval of the committee.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Frank. Can we go back to the first page? Ito the actual letter from the bidder. For the members, so we have here before us a motion for reconsideration from RCDG, which was disqualified during the post-qual to, no?
Yes, sir.
During the post-qualification of their bid, being the lowest bidder at the time, due to the submission of an invalidly notarized, several invalidly notarized documents as determined by RTWG. So it is now for the BAC to decide whether we will adopt this recommendation to deny the motion for reconsideration, or if you have any justification, we can grant the motion. So let's open this for discussion. Is there any comment from our members? Okay. Attorney Frank, just for good measure, so we are the basis for which they were disqualified was because the notarization of their documents was found to be fraudulent. Is that correct, or is it just are we considering it fraudulent? That's what I'm asking?
Sir, at this point, sir, we just consider it as an invalid notarization, considering that such notarization is the details in the notarial commission of the one who allegedly notarized the documents were actually not the details of the actual commissioned lawyer. So we are just saying, sir, that it is not really a valid based on the document is really not valid, validly notarized, considering that the details are not really the details of the lawyer.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking is because I believe the effect of a submission of an invalidly notarized document would be that it's not notarized,
Yes,
which
sir.
is precisely the ground being raised by the bidder.
Sir, they invoke GPPB 09-2020 and requested the committee to treat their submission as unnotarized, but this is actually not the context of GPPB Resolution Number 09-2020, because GPPB 09-2020, as can be read in its preliminaries, the the entity or the procuring entity may allow the submission of unnotarized documents by reason of difficulty to obtain the services or difficulty to comply with the requirements of a certain agency due to travel restriction. But in this case, Mr. Chair, they were able to comply all the requirements. Thus, it is contrary to what the reason why GPPB allows the submission of unauthorized document.
Yun nga eh. The reason why I'm asking is because I believe the very thrust of the motion is that it is they're raising good faith as a defense, and that because they're in good faith, they wanted it to be considered as merely unauthorized. And that's precisely the point because for example, a notarization, Attorney Frank, na expired yung notarization, yung date, would that be the same as in this case wherein we have validated and determined that it was actually not even the same lawyer that notarized it? Because I believe if kunyari naglapse na yung date, that I believe is an invalid notarization.
Yes, sir.
But if it's something that was has been determined by the DWG upon checking that it was not even the lawyer, then I would even go as far as submitting that this is actually a fraudulent submission. That is the very reason why they're raising good faith as a defense.
Yes, sir.
Because this is a fraudulent submission. I just want to be careful with using the term invalidly notarized, because by law, an invalid notarization has an effect of making that document merely unnotarized, but that does not invalidate the document itself, especially if it's a contract, right? It just makes it not notarized. So in some extent, it's still acceptable, and that's precisely what they're raising. That's why I would, for me, like I think it was Mambani last time that pointed it out, that since it was determined that there was fraud in this case, we should even go as far as blacklisting if necessary. But that's outside of the discussions for today. But just for the purpose of this disqualification, I just want to be clear that the disqualification is really for submission of a fraudulent document rather than just a merely invalidly notarized document. So maybe we can reflect that in the letter, Attorney Frank.
Okay, sir. We will make the necessary inclusion of the fraudulent.
Yes.
Further explaining why it is invalid due to fraudulent notarization, sir.
Yes. And by saying that, then we can properly reject that defense that it is submitted in good faith. Because again, we're just a bids and awards committee. We're not a trier of intentions here. We're only looking at the validity of documents. Okay?
Duly noted, sir.
So if there's no more comments, maybe we can have a motion for the denial or the granting of this motion for reconsideration. Just for records purposes.
Motion to adopt or to deny or reconsider.
May motion po tayo. So we can move forward already. Kung wala na pong comments.
Mr. Chair, my motion is for the denial of this document. But the wordings, as I agree with attorney, the wordings of fraudulent is much better than the invalidity of the document notarized.
All right, thank you, sir. There is a motion for the denial of this MR. Is there any second to that motion?
I second the motion.
All right, thank you, sir. There being a motion duly seconded, the motion for reconsideration submitted by RCDG is hereby denied, subject to the revision of the letter to include the discussions made during today's meeting. Attorney Frank.
Thank you, sir.
That being said, earlier there was already a recommendation for the technical working group has already recommended for the award of the contract to Ed Marie Construction and Trading, which is the second lowest bidder for the Bukidnon Airport Development Project. So do we have any comments or recommendation from the members based on the presentation? Ako lang, Attorney Frank, can you go back to the requirement regarding SLCC, please? Number 7. Kasi I just noticed the project that they posted as the SLCC is a resettlement housing project. Okay lang to?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, I encountered a non-policy opinion of the GPPB, Mr. Chair, which allows the not to strictly apply similar contract, the wording similar to that should be analogous to the similar contract, the description of a similar contract, Mr. Chair, provided that the similar contract that is being submitted by the bidder also corresponds to the project being bidded, Mr. Chair.
So this provision regarding road works, drainage works, and site preparation, considering that it exceeds the 50% requirement of the ABC, will suffice?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, just wanted to point to reflect that on record. Also, in the next item, in the audited financial statement, the submitted AFS is 2018 to 2019, while the requirement is for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. Bid submission being January 2021.
Its bid submission is December 28, 2020, Mr. Chair.
December 28, 2020. So our reckoning year is 2018.
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it for me. Are there any questions or comments from the other members? If there are no further comments, there is a recommendation for the award. But let me just clarify that considering that the amount for this project exceeds the authority of the DG to approve contracts, this has to be presented for the board. Correct, Attorney Frank?
Yes, sir.
So what we are approving here is only the recommendation to the board for award. All right. So the recommendation from the TWG is to recommend the award of the contract to the board for Ed Marie Construction and Trading for the Bukidnon Airport Development Project. If there's no more comments, maybe we can have a motion, please.
Miss Vani. Miss Dayan, Miss Vani.
To the chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'd like to make the motion to recommend to the board awarding of this project to Ed Marie Corporation.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any second to that motion?
I second the motion.
Thank you, sir. There being a motion duly seconded, the recommendation of TWG to recommend the award of the project, the Bukidnon Airport Development Project to Ed Marie Construction and Trading is hereby approved. And Attorney Frank, the board meeting will be on Friday. Are we ready to present this?
Yes, sir. We are going to ask guidance from the committee, Mr. Chair, if we are going to present this on Friday, considering that the RCDG still have the recourse to file a protest within 7 days before, within 7 days after receipt, Mr. Chair.
Yes, but under the rules, the protest does not toll the proceedings, right? So I don't think we're bound to postpone the presentation just because of the possibility of filing a protest. So let them file a protest if they wish to, but we just proceed accordingly.
Yes, sir. We will just prepare all the necessary board materials for the inclusion of this project during the upcoming board meeting, sir.
All right, thank you. Okay, that being done, let's go back to the item earlier. Are we ready to present for the Surigao project? Tama ba, Surigao? Yes, okay. End user, please.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. This time, ADMS would like to present the procurement of Surigao Airport Development Project, expansion of runway, runway strip width correction, runway markings, rehabilitation of apron and taxiway markings, and construction of perimeter fence. Shown is the site development plan for runway expansion. For proposed rehabilitation of taxiways and apron, and for construction of perimeter fence. The approved budget for the contract is 75,387,723.97 Prospective bidders should possess the following technical personnel, the equipment, and applicable license of medium A, license category B for road, highway pavement, railways, airport, horizontal structures, and bridges. The duration for the said project is 270 calendar days, inclusive of 15 rainy, unworkable days. And the bidding documents will cost 56,000 inclusive of 12% VAT. For the bid data sheet, certificate of site inspection duly signed by Mr. Junelito P. Abrazado, Airport Manager of Surigao Airport, or his duly authorized representative. For 5.2, Contracts of similar to the project refer to contracts which have the same major categories of work for concreting of roads and other horizontal structures. Under 10.4, the key personnel must meet the required minimum years of experience set below. For key personnel, project civil engineer, geodetic engineer, materials engineer, construction foreman, safety and health officer with general experience of 5 years in general engineering and relevant experience of 3 years in concreting of roads or other horizontal structures. And also for the minimum major equipment requirements. For the scope of work, we have SPL1, mobilization or demobilization, expansion of runway with strip width correction, and under letter A, we have item P-152-1 for excavation, with project coverage of from station 1 plus 66.68 to station 1 plus 715.47 with a total volume of 4,801.67 cubic meters. For item P-152-2, for embankment, we have a total volume of 59.48 cubic meters and a project coverage of from station 1 plus 66.68 to station 1 plus 715.47. For item P-209 for crush aggregate base course with a total volume of 2,319.84 cubic meters. And for item P-501 for Portland cement concrete pavement with a total volume of 1,685.29 cubic meters and a total area of 5,617.63 square meters. Under item P-620-1 for runway markings, with a total area of 7,519.88 square meters. For item B, we have rehabilitation of apron and taxiways, which includes the demolition and disposal. For taxiway 1, we have 1,048.65 square meters, taxiway 2, 988.10 square meters, and apron, 10,200 square meters. For item P-209, crush aggregate base course, with a total volume of 1,223.68 cubic meters. For item P-501, Portland cement concrete pavement, with a total area of 12,236.75 square meters. And for P-620-2, taxiway and apron markings, with a total area of 405.88 square meters. Lastly, for construction of perimeter fence, We have 9 strands barbed wire with concrete post, 1,609 bays at 2 meters per bay, and 9 strands barbed wire with wooden post, 34 bays at 6 meters per bay. And for special item, we have temporary facilities, staff house, and service vehicle. That's all, sir. The end user would like to recommend this project for posting.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. At this point, let's open the floor for discussion on any comments or recommendation from the members, TWG, and the Secretariat, please. What's this, Ma'am Eda?
Sir, baka kung nag-drive sa checklist nila, sir.
Yeah, let's put that on record, please. There's let's check the checklist.
I-run through mo lang. Run through mo lang.
Shown is the checklist of technical and financial documents. We have the technical component envelope, legal documents, technical documents.
Baba mo muna konti. Isa-isa natin.
Isa-isa. For financial documents,
Okay na po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Is there any more comments? If there's none, maybe we can have a motion for this. The recommendation of the end user is for posting of this project.
Motion, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, please.
Motion to approve the recommendation of the end user for posting of this project, Surigao Airport Development Project.
Thank you, sir. There is a motion. Is there any second to that motion?
Second.
Thank you, ma'am. There being a motion duly seconded, the procurement of the project Surigao Airport Development Project is hereby approved for posting.
Noted, sir.
Again, the documents will be emailed to Sir Sani. Okay.
Back to the Secretariat, sir.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Do we have anything else under other matters?
Just a reminder, sir, we will have the pre-bid conference for the Lubang project on February 18, 2 p.m. Virtual also.
Pre-procurement. Okay. Sige.
Pre-bid, sir.
Pre-bid. Okay,
Pre-bid.
thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
And we will also present the bid evaluation for Kuyo on the 18th, sir.
Kuyo?
Yes, sir.
Sige. Okay. There being no more items on the agenda, meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you everyone for attending.
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
you, sir.
everyone.